Before we begin, I want to give a huge shout out to MatPat over on the Film Theory for covering Hazbin Hotel on his channel. It wasn't very good, but talking about that would be a video for another day. Thanks to him, though, we are now seeing an increase on our own numbers and our own channel, and thus I have been encouraged to make another Hazbin video. And people have been wanting this one for a while.
Hello! Oh!
Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart, and today we're going to take a look at just objectively the best character in the Hazbin Hotel pilot, and that is Alastor, otherwise known as the Radio Demon. As I mentioned in the first video I did on this series, he was, at the time, my favorite character in all of fiction. And yeah, I probably look back on that and cringe a little bit simply because of how hyperbolic it was, but I still find him to be incredibly fascinating. In this video, we will go over the history of the character's creation and the character's relationship to Vivzypop, Alastor's fictional life and afterlife, the character's personality and mannerisms, Alastor's role in Hell as an overlord. We'll also clear some speculation, and I'll talk about his D&D alignment, because of course I have to, you guys know that. And we'll end the video with some fun facts. However, before we get into any of that, we're going to go ahead and pay our editor and thank our sponsor, Frag Pro Shooter. Frag Pro Shooter is one of the best games of the decade, with nearly 70 million players and over 1 million active players on nearly every day. This game is specifically designed for mobile devices, so you can play it pretty much everywhere, even while deer hunting. The rules are super easy. Assemble your team from over 90 different characters, each one with their own special rules and powers. The object of the normal game is to destroy the 2 enemy bunkers, which then opens up their tower. Destroy their tower, and you win the game. The game is always coming out with new content and new modes, like Payload, 2v2, or Street Frag, but what makes this game really shine are its characters. Y'all know I love me some good characters. The newest one is this gal called Zap Girl, a legendary infantry fighter who can spam thunder totems all over the battlefield and not only damages everyone but also slows them down, completely disrupting their strategy. I suggest taking her onto a payload map and just ruining everyone's day by making the map just the most miserable experience for them. Just drop a bunch of totems, and while they're busy taking them out, you and your team can just pick them off one by one. Download the game using the link in the description and the pinned comment, and you can get $6 worth of free stuff, including a gold chest, 500 coins, 50 diamonds, and a special gift. These free rewards for you will only be available due to the link in the description and the pinned comment. Thank you, Frag Pro Shooter, for sponsoring the video, and let's get back to Hazbin Hotel. As of writing this video, there have only been 2 official media sources of this version of Alastor, and that is the Hazbin Hotel pilot and the comic that was on the website simply called The Radio Demon. Or is the title A Day in the Afterlife? I'm really not sure. Either way, since this is a discussion of the meta of Hazbin's creation, I have chosen to ask my friend Radio Hazbin for information as to the connection between Vivzy and her creation. Take it away, Radio.
Greetings, sinners! I am Radio Hazbin here on Loading Crew's channel to cover the creation of Alastor. Though in MatPat's fun theory had on the D-Demon, it was rather far-fetched, as it were. Vivian herself took to Twitter to say it thusly. I think the funniest part of MatPat's Hazbin theory video to me was that Alastor and his radio voice was inspired by Bill Cipher when I made him in high school, inspired for his voice by the Annie London cast recording soundtrack. The truth is always musicals. Here is his old design when he originally was drawn back as a Loki-like-esque character in Zoophobia to the magnificent fast-talking radio demon that he currently is in Hazbin Hotel. A lot of changes have been made to the character. Whether he still shapeshifts or not remains a mystery for the time being. His deer-like design comes from when he was shot in the back of the head, as he portrayed by Hunter B, one of the storyboard artists at Splinterhorse. This incident happened on a deer hunting ground when Hunter mistook him for an actual deer. Though Vivzy made Alastor during her high school, this is likely during a stressful time when examinations, work, and possibly trying to enter college, which he ultimately actually did. Though Alastor and Angel being her oldest creations, they have a darker undertone to their demeanor. Angel Dust was created during her time as a victim of a rather toxic relationship, but for Alastor, Though inspired by Princess and the Frog Doctor's Felicia in his latest design, especially in his reprisal song, in addition to the London cast of Annie. Alastor represents her anger towards the world and how much she would go berserk with a smile on her face, or just remember the old days when things were simpler, without technology and outrage of social media becoming rampant in its vitriolic escapades. That is why Alastor brings up 1929, because that is the year of the time of the Great Depression, which was Annie was technically set, and more likely Vivian was creating Alastor while going through that exact process. That is all I currently have on Alastor's current history. Back to you, Stuart.
Unlike most sinners in hell, Alastor refuses to adopt a nickname of any kind, and the Radio Demon moniker is just something that people started calling him. The character was simply known as Alastor, and he was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, of mixed ethnic origins between at least one parent who is Creole French. I believe I'm saying that right. Creole. By the way, even though we're showing images of Alastor in human form, none of these are canon, and the closest we have is the kill shot image we showed earlier. Due to his mixed ethnicity and the fact that he uses voodoo in his magic, it is unlikely that anyone, aside from Vivzy and those close to her, know what his human form actually looks like. Not much is known about his childhood, but sometime in his adult life he became a radio host and subsequently a serial killer. There are fan theories going around that Alastor was the Axeman of New Orleans, but myself and others refute that by saying that the Axeman was active in years 1911 through 1919, and it's unlikely the case. Alastor's official death year is 1933, and he reportedly died in his early 30s. If Alastor was the Axeman, he would have needed to commit a murder as early as 11 years old, and while it's plausible in a very morbid sense, is more likely that Alastor was either inspired by these events or is simply a reference to the historic person. As Radio mentioned earlier, Alastor was shot by a hunter, and you can see his kill X on his forehead as the exit point of the bullet in both the pilot and various marketing materials. Fun fact, those X's you see on characters like Vaggie are actually the kill mark or the wound that killed them in real life. Due to Alastor's life of being a murderer, he has been condemned to hell. Since his death, Alastor has made quite a name for himself in hell. Alastor is called an overlord, which is simply a powerful demon who can browbeat or intimidate other demons into working, serving, or worshipping them. While I mistakenly said in my initial video that Alastor is the first sinner to become an overlord, we learned recently that many other overlords were in fact once human. Many of these overlords seem to have themes to their powers. This is either for narrative sake or visual sake. Either way, it seemed that many of their powers derive from various aspects of media. Aside from Alastor, known as the Radio Demon, we know that a few other overlords, including a group known as the Triple V's, Fox, Valentino, and Velvet, whose powers are tied to television, pornography, and social media respectively, are all overlords as well, and as such control other various aspects in hell. Interestingly enough, Alastor does not seem particularly interested in his title or status. While he does seem to have characters like Nifty or Husk at his beck and call, he doesn't seem to be a master of any territory, aside from the fact that he's now the de facto protector of Charlie's Hotel. Alastor is an unusual demon. Currently, he does not seem to have any ambitions or goals other than his own entertainment. He is stated to be one of the few demons, much less overlords, in hell with a code of ethics and principles. According to Vivzypop, he does not chase fleeing victims, nor would he harm a child directly. He seems to be rather protective of women and others that he considers to be of the fairer sex. In the comic The Radio Demon, Alastor is seen protecting a small female sheep demon from an assault and takes time to politely greet nearly every woman along his path. Alastor considers himself to be a gentleman and a ladies' man and will seemingly protect them when he sees them preyed upon someone stronger. And this is appropriate considering he comes from a time where the social relationships between men and women were much different. This isn't quite a milady situation. He also seems very sincere in this regard, and he's not doing this with an expectation of a reward, as he is canonically asexual and is not interested in any physical relationships at all, as seen when he completely rejected angel dust and is offered to
suck your dick.
Ha! No.
Your loss.
Although, in Alastor's defense, teeth. Just saying. Alastor does not like being touched, although he doesn't seem to have a problem invading other personal spaces. However, Alastor is not a good person. Despite his ethical code, Alastor is sadistic, cruel, and frankly enjoys toying or torturing other people. It is said he smiles because he feels it is the best way to show dominance and to strike fear into others. Alastor is also a cannibal, and his favorite foods are bitter and spicy, like jambalaya, or demon meat. As I mentioned in my first Hazbin video, Alastor is clearly lawful evil. He considers himself to be a gentleman serial killer and has a strict moral code that he doesn't ever seem to break. This also seems to come through with his reflection on their place in hell.
The chance given was the life they lived before. The punishment is this!
Alastor clearly believes that he and everyone else condemned to hell deserves their punishment in one way or another. While he deals with women with a softer touch, he doesn't actually seem to believe that there is any reprieve for any of them, nor does he seem to think that the currently known laws of their universe can be changed, no matter how much good someone tries to do. Alastor is sincere and honest. While he may scheme and plot with his own plans, when Alastor says he will do something, he seems keen to deliver. When he offered the old scratch deal with Charlie, despite the fact that she refused to shake his hand, he still staffed her hotel with his underlings. I fully believe that he plans to twist things into his own personal pleasure, but this is the behavior of a typical lawful evil individual. Honestly, I don't have much to say about Alastor other than he is a fantastically fun character and I can't wait to see more of him. So, before we go, let's go ahead and give some fun facts. Alastor can speak French, which makes sense considering his heritage. Vivzy has kept the totality of Alastor's powers vague, but it is known that he can alter reality slightly, and he practices voodoo. Alastor's deer feet can actually be seen in the pilot. It's right there when he's walking to the bar. Alastor is apparently a fantastic cook. Despite the fact that Gabriel Brown voices Alastor's singing voice, Edward Bosco, Alastor's normal voice, can sing quite well. Alastor can play piano. I don't know what to do with that information. Despite Alastor's asexuality, Vivzy has given permission to ship him with whomever you like. Also, maybe, check out the Alastor body pillow we have on LoadingCrewCrafts.com. Just saying. He might like cuddling with you. Alastor also likes pineapple on pizza. This is why he was sent to hell. Fine, no he wasn't. Alastor wears gloves because he has really bad hands and he doesn't take care of his fingernails. Also, the whole touchy-touchy thing. His favorite song is You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile, from the Annie musical, which explains his catchphrase.
Smile, my dear! You know you're never fully dressed without one.
And if you want to catch more of these Hazbin videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and watch my D&D content, and support the Patreon. Thank y'all, and I'll see you next time. Oh, also, don't forget to subscribe to Radio Hazbin, our guest for the episode. Thank you so much for providing your voice.